In today's episode of the Pathmark Presents podcast, I have an interesting guest here with me today. I'm with Alex Temple, and she's hailing over as the Director of Growth at Mable. And today we want to be, learning, want to be learning all about Mable, and basically what they provide is to be the ability to shop wholesale from thousands of local and emerging brands. It's an interesting two-sided marketplace, so we're gonna jump right into learning more. So, Alex, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Very good. So give us a 360 overview in your own words. What is Mable all about?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, Mable is a B2B wholesale platform where independent grocers discover and reorder from emerging brands. And we're focused on solving really complex problems in the grocery space. So from product discovery to reordering to shipping, distribution, and logistics, all of those hot topics are on our roadmap to solve. And really where we've started and where we're at today is with that two-sided marketplace. We have thousands of brands and thousands of retailers that shop from us every week.
Very cool. And maybe tell us a little bit more about the two sides of the businesses. You have the suppliers, really. Tell us about the other side of the marketplace. What types of companies are picking them up? What size are they? Who are the individuals? Maybe tell us a bit more. Who do we find, benefiting most from Mable?
Yeah, so we first went to market when we launched in 2019 against independent grocers. So that would be, someone who's maybe the owner or a manager buyer at a one location grocery store. So they've got a lot on their plate and they've got a higher end selection of goods and specialty foods that they carry. So that's really our core customer. That's where we've started. But as the product has evolved over the last couple of years, you will see some multi-location chains buying from Mable as well, even up to some, stores with thousands of locations that you would recognize where maybe they're managed on a geographical level and they're using Mable to find the best products, the local stuff that really appeals to the type of customer that they want to be bringing into their store.
Very cool. Okay. And how do these folks hear about Mable? Like, what is sort of, typical journey of a, grocer or a brand to, basically find you guys?
Yeah, that's a great question. So one of the main ways that grocers find out about us today is through our brand. So through word of mouth and referrals. We've intentionally made it very, very easy for the brands that sell on Mable to invite any of their existing relationships or anyone that they would like to buy from them onto the Mable platform. And we've got a couple of key benefits why they would do that. One, Mable offers buyers net 60 terms. So that's really great. A lot of brands can't do that. It's, hard on their cash flow to be able to do that. So we offer that. And then our reordering platform is just so easy that it's really a win-win for everyone.
Very cool. And, how do you sort of, as a leader in growth, how do you think about the website? What role does the website play in your eyes, sort of for both sides? On the one side, on the, the sellers, but also the grocers, maybe sort of what role does it play for each of them?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the fact that we have a really great website and a technology platform for retailers, that in itself has allowed us to create this business that was missing before. Retailers, if they wanted to order from a brand, would have to go through like a credit application process, paperwork, and just lots of time. Now we can see that, with the right inbound strategies, a retailer can buy from us without even having to talk to a person. So that is huge. That's really, really important. And that's something that we focus on, making that process as frictionless as possible for retailers. And then obviously having the right supply on, that matters a lot as well. And making sure that as a retailer is shopping, depending on the type of store that they are, that they can see the things that are most relevant to them. So the website has a really big job to play.
Because you mentioned, actually, we had a quick chat prior, you mentioned that sampling is obviously a big part of the journey. Maybe tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, it is a big part of the journey. So we launched a sampling product for brands to be able to opt in, say, yes, retailer, you can try a sample from me. You can just request that on the website. And it was almost as if, similar to building out the ordering functionality that we have, but in a slightly different way, where we enable feedback because not every sample is going to result ultimately in an order. But yes, that sampling is a unique aspect to doing business with Mable.
Very cool. Okay, so we did sort of like a quick wrap up of what you guys are doing, sort of who you're serving, the two sides of things, how they find you guys, the role of the website. What I would be curious is to just, learn a little bit more about yourself, your journey as a marketer. So maybe tell me a little bit more now. Leading up growth, right? The director of growth, you've been a director of marketing prior, you grew into the director of growth role. Like, what's the type of content that you personally like to consume? Where do you read? What is the platforms? How do you filter from all the noise out there?
There's a lot of noise out there for sure. And I actually took a non-traditional path into marketing. Um, as my career started, I started college, going to school for interior design, and then pivoted into finance. Worked for a couple of roles as a financial analyst, and then found my way into technology really as a customer first. I started selling things on two-sided marketplaces like ThreadUp as an example, things like that, and I got fascinated with the technology piece and kind of how these businesses are growing. So I joined a boot camp program that taught digital marketing. And really, if you've got the mindset for growth, even if you're not traditionally taught as a marketer, I'm a firm believer that you can do it. So spent 4 years at ezCater running their customer acquisition program, focusing on paid search, which had a lot of similarities to finance, really. Managing big budgets and looking at data and crunching numbers and making decisions. So from there, I really wanted to try a smaller company, and that's where I found Mable. Our CEO, Eric, reached out to me. I thought, what a great opportunity to try building a marketplace from scratch. And when I came in, I was marketer number one, tasked with build the supply side, build the demand side. And that role has since evolved into a director of growth, where we've actually got sales, marketing, and customer success all on one growth team. It's very unique. So as far as what's my inspiration, really talking to great mentors and other people outside of the space to say, like, hey, what would you do? What trends are you seeing? You're in a bigger organization. How are people structuring these types of roles? So I guess, leaning on outside influences and not being afraid to just do something different.
Very cool. Since we're slowly approaching sort of, the end of our short and crisp format in the Pathfinder Presents podcast, I have some rapid fire questions for you. The regular listeners know them well. Our guests, for them, is always a little bit of a surprise. Are you ready for them?
Sure.
What is the last book you read or the last podcast you listened to?
Oh, let's see. The last book that I read was, what was it called? Sorry, I'm blanking. It's about work in America, and what happens to people when they lose their jobs in factories. So not
What's
exactly.
one? No worries. It's a rapid fire questions. No worries.
Okay.
What is one single thing your company is focused on the most at the moment?
We are really focused on how we can help brands grow their business outside of what we're offering today and in addition to what we offer today.
If there would be no boundaries in technology, right? So everything is possible. What's the one thing you would fix for your role today?
Oh, not quite related to technology, but hiring. We have an open role that's been really, really difficult to fill.
Nice. What role is it? So people listening in might be excited about what you guys are doing. What's the type of role?
It's a senior growth marketing manager focused on the retailer side of the business. So if you love B2B and e-com and would be really great at working on customer acquisition in that space, reach out.
Very good. Last question, right? If we go back to the day you mentioned, actually the boot camp that you went through in digital marketing, right? If you go back to the day, so it's a couple of years ago now. So put yourself in the shoes. You just finished it up. Like, what's the one advice you would give yourself for your journey in marketing from there?
Oh my goodness. Don't worry about not knowing everything, right? We are so fortunate that it's easy to pick up new skills, specifically in marketing and growth, even if you've never done them before. So don't sweat it.
Very cool, Alex. I really appreciate you took time today to be a guest on Pathfinder Presents. I want to give you the very last word. If somebody would be forgetting all that we discussed about Mable today, what's the one thing they should remember?
They should remember that Mable is focused on grocery. Our CEO owns a grocery store, and that really makes us different. And we help small businesses thrive.
Thanks a lot for being a guest on Pathfinder Presents.